I'm out walking. It's springtime, which just reminds me of my childhood and my growing up years, but my childhood mostly, because that's when life was less complicated and I wasn't aware of the world around me. There was noise, but I didn't know why there was noise, and I didn't care, and I just played. But walking out here today, seeing the little streams, the puddles and the streams coming out of the puddles flowing downhill reminds me of where I grew up. There used to be this big lake section. You're a little kid, so imagine you're 2 feet tall, 3 feet tall, whatever, and there's this big pool of water from all the melted snow, and we needed it, and the mission was for the kids that I was surrounded by, living with, whatever, growing up with. The mission was to use the heels of our boots and sticks to dig little trenches from it about 150 feet to where the hill started and went down from there, and drain it as fast as we could. And it was just the enjoyment children can get from something so simple and so pure is amazing, and it's something I'm working to recapture, because that disappeared very shortly after that. But all of that to say, walking through here, walking in the snow, walking in the slush, reminds me of that time of year. And it's almost like the idea that it's the embodiment of the idea that from something that was dead or something that was, frozen, you get water, you get life, you get growth, and you get, it covered the fields in the wintertime and you couldn't see them, but you needed the snow because otherwise the fields would die. But now with the water from the snow melting, the grass grows and everything rebuilds. And I don't know, it's just there's something about spring that I've always loved. I like all the seasons. I don't like summer as much, but that's fine. I enjoy spring, and spring makes me feel sentimental and reminds me of much, much younger days when I was freer. I wouldn't say happier, because I think I've gotten to a place of happiness now, but for a long time there where I was happier. There's a guy clearing out his yard. He's got a really nice house, which I wouldn't mind buying and living in when he dies. That's a totally different conversation. Anyway, just some thoughts I had out on my stroll. Supposed to be doing this walk nasal only, but I'll get to that as soon as I stop talking. The sound of splashing through water with mud boots reminds me of my brother and me doing what we were told not to do and splashing through puddles. He could tell you more about that. He got his ass beat a number of times for doing that. Spring, it's just amazing. Got a lot of good memories with spring. Some bad memories, but mostly good memories. And I enjoy spring. I love it. I hear a kid shouting. I don't miss that. I don't hear cows mooing anymore. Although for 10 years that was what we went to sleep with. Sound of cows mooing lowing, I guess you would say. That was always fun when they'd separate the calves, separate the yearlings from the moms. Then you got like a week and a half or 2 weeks until they went hoarse, until the cows went hoarse from so much lowing that they couldn't anymore. That was always fun. But I do remember that house and that life fondly. We lived there for 10 years till it burned down. It was a good place, but there was a lot of stuff that happened while we were there that kind of set me up for the rest of everything that ended up happening. All that to say, spring makes me feel sentimental and nostalgic, and I miss my childhood, but I wouldn't go back. I guess I miss the part that I don't remember. I miss the part where I was carefree and young and happy, unburdened by responsibility, unburdened by fear, unburdened by anger, unburdened by bitterness, unburdened by the mistakes that I've stacked on myself, unburdened by the successes that have grown from those mistakes and the responsibility that's come with that success. I wish for it sometimes, but at the same time, I'm so happy to have lived and learned and moved forward. Because the truth is, you can't remain a child for your entire life. And if you do, that becomes extremely unhealthy. So, the truth is, childhood is for a time. Finishing up M. Scott Peck's book, childhood is for a time. But if it doesn't pass, then there's something else very wrong.